Low energy, unfocused, foggy? You might be dehydrated. Whether it's hot yoga, over 100-degree weather, or too much sun. Gator Light, with a specialized blend of 5 electrolytes, was scientifically designed to help move fluids into the body faster for rapid rehydration. Shop now at retailers nationwide. Gator Light hydrates faster than water. Is it in you? Symptoms noted are signs of mild to moderate dehydration. Consult a healthcare professional if symptoms persist.
This episode is brought to you by Accenture. When your advertising operations fall out of sync, everything else follows. Spotify and Accenture are working together to reinvent the rhythm of ad sales, using automation, analytics, and smarter workflows to simplify campaign delivery and access better data across the business. The result? Less time spent on operations, more time connecting brands with the moments and fandoms that matter most. Learn more at accenture.com/Spotify.
The new LinkedIn Hiring Pro can't undo your last hire, the no-show. Who set you back because they didn't show up on day 1, or day 2, or ever again. And now your product launch is delayed because you're talking to alien abduction podcasters to track them down. But LinkedIn Hiring Pro can help make sure your next hire sticks. In fact, businesses who use LinkedIn are 24% less likely to reopen a role in the next 12 months. Hire right the first time with LinkedIn Hiring Pro. Post a free job today at linkedin.com/quality.
From the Fifth Quarter Studios in Madison, Wisconsin, you're listening to Coach Unplugged. And now, your host, Steve Collins.
Hey everybody, welcome to Coach Unplugged. So excited you decided to join us today. Before I jump into the podcast, go over and leave a 5-star review. We really love those reviews. Leave some comments. I read all of them and we would really appreciate that. But before we get started, I would definitely want to give a big shout out to our 2 sponsors. First of all, Dr. Dish, the #1 shooting machine on the market, bar none. Mention Coach Unplugged, you get $450 off and you'll get the best customer service you'll ever expect. Just mention Coach Collins and they'll take really good care of you. Also, go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better. It is the one-stop shop for basketball coaches. It's something, when I started teachhoops.com, it was what I would have wanted as a young coach before, all the state championships and all the nationally ranked teams that I've coached. And not to brag, just to kind of tell kind of my journey, I would have killed for this stuff because it would have made my life so much easier. A little bit of everything that you need to become a better basketball coach. And we are the only people out there that offer a 14-day free trial because we believe in it so much. Follow the roadmap, work on your craft, and you get me one-on-one mentoring. So I can't imagine anything better than that. I don't know. Anyway, go over and check it out. And let's head off to the podcast. Excited to talk to Gene today about basketball. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to have him introduce himself, and then we'll talk about his basketball journey, and then we'll talk hoops. So welcome, Coach, to Coach Unplugged. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your basketball journey.
Listen, it's a pleasure to be on, Steve. I really appreciate this opportunity. Been a head coach for 30 years. Came straight out of college and thought that I knew it all, and believe me, I got blindsided by how much I didn't know. I started out in a small private school where I coached boys varsity, girls varsity, both JVs, no assistant. And so I did everything from redo the floors to run the concession stand to doing everything. And it was, at that time, being a young coach, it really was just a blessing in disguise because I learned so much. Stayed there for 3 years. Like I said, learned many, many, many lessons. And then I had the opportunity to go to North Georgia. A friend of mine, we talked, and they was in need of a girls coach. And went to North Georgia to a school called Dade County. Not to be confused with Dade County, Florida, because whenever I tell everybody I coach at Dade County, they think it's down in Florida, but it's not. It's up near Chattanooga, Tennessee, in the northwest corner of Georgia.
Okay.
Stayed there for 14 years, Stephen. And let me tell you, blessed to have a bunch of good old, just hardworking mountain girls that believed in what we did. And, the first year there, we ended up winning the region title and going to state. They'd never had a winning season before. So, man, let me tell you, I could have ran for mayor there for a while. And it was just a great experience there. Me and my wife settled down, and we brought our newborn son at that time there, and ended up having 3 other kids. So we raised all 4 of our kids during that 14-year span. The Dade County just had a tremendous run there with some great young ladies. And this was a double-A school, only about 700 kids. And we ended up probably sending 25 kids to play on at college basketball. Even had a McDonald's All-American come out of there.
Yeah.
So, you're very fortunate to have a kid of that caliber.
Yeah.
So,
I bet I tell people there's 2 types of coaches, Coach. There's coaches with players and there's ex-coaches,
That's a good statement. I always tell them as I start when I talk at clinics, I say, you know what, 2 things that go real well together. And I said, that's coach of the year and player of the year. Because I guarantee you, those players a lot of times make you look like you know what you're doing. But I had a great situation there. Now, from there, kind of the little background of how I ended up at Buford was I started looking. Really, the school that day was wonderful, but it really didn't have great opportunities for my boys. And my boys were getting to the situation where they were serious about sports and everything else. And so I started looking all across the Southeast of trying to find the best place that I could go to give my kids the best opportunity that they could have academic-wise, athletic-wise, total package. Right. And God blessed me, opened the door at Buford High School, which Buford's outside of Atlanta. And Buford has an unbelievable winning tradition. And a friend of mine was coaching there. And I was going to even go try to be his assistant coach. But then all of a sudden the girls' job popped open. Everything fell in line. Been there. This is my 14th year there. And we've had a great run here. And had a lot of success and a lot of had to redo the program and have some ups and downs, but have really built a really good program here, built on the right things and the core values and all, and very, very proud of what we've been able to do here.
It's I want to unpack a couple of things. First of all, very similar experience. I'm coming up. This is 31 for me, I think, but I think especially for the young coaches that are listening. You can read all the books you want. You can watch all the videos you want. You can do until you've actually been thrown into the fire. You think you know it, but you really don't.
Oh boy, Steve, you're so right. And there's no. I tell people all the time, there's no substitute for experience. And especially like I said, when I got into it, man, it was such a blessing that I went to that smaller private school starting out because. Like I said, I had to do everything there. And so now everybody's kind of amazed and all that, it don't matter whether it's wrapping an ankle, driving the bus, doing whatever. Right. I've been able to do it. That's been a big plus in my coaching career. So.
Yeah. And I don't think people realize too that, I'm sweeping I'm a high school coach. I've been 30 years. We've won 3 state titles. I've coached NBA. I'm still sweeping the floor. That's what we do.
Absolutely.
That's what high school coaches do. We're there every day, Trust me, everybody in that school knows my name. All the janitors know my name. I was in there this morning with my son. So it's like, that's our lives. That's where we live, basically,
That's one of the things, everybody talks about, the kids nowadays and changes and all that. I'm more worried about the coaches than I am the kids because, I see a lot of younger coaches come out. Like you said, I'm out there sweeping the floor. Doing this, doing that. They're like, now, why are you doing that? Right. And I'm like, it's what I'm supposed to do. It's about excellence. And, that's just something, like I said, that really worries me now in the coaching environment is we talk about entitled kids. Right. Man, I see so many entitled coaches now. They don't have any, it's like that thing about my first 3 years. I didn't even know how much I was getting paid, man. I just knew that, guess what? I was doing something I loved to do and, man, had a passion for it. And, man, I had the best job in the world.
Yep, that's something I teach my kids too. The kids that live in my house with me. It's like find something that you love to do, and find something that loves you back, and you'll never work a day in your life. You might love playing the piano, but it might not love you back. So you got to find something that loves you but loves you back, and you'll do it. Coaching and teaching has been one of those things for me. On a side note, we go to Sanibel Island a lot in Southern Florida. And we drive through Atlanta. Atlanta has the worst traffic in the entire world. I'm telling you.
Brother, let me tell you what. See, everybody, when I moved to Atlanta, I'm just old country boy. And they was like, well, how are you going to survive? And I said, listen, Buford's on the outskirts of Atlanta. So, yes, we've got our own little we got a little sub-city out here. And so we don't have to go into the traffic and everything else. I couldn't do it. We were on vacation a little bit last week. we came back through Atlanta and we saw cars, sitting there. And I told my wife, I said, listen, there's no way I could do this every day. I said, I'd have to find something else I'd have to do. So, like I said,
Right.
it's blessed to be able to do. But you're right about Atlanta traffic, brother. But I don't get in it that much.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. All right, so let's talk some X's and O's. Here's a good one. What if you could only do 3 things at practice? What would those 3 things be, and why?
Okay, now when you're asking that would be kind of, I don't know about specifics of what I would believe. What I believe is 3 things you got to do to win a state championship. I truly believe in these 3 things.
Okay.
You got to, and what's going to be so funny is one of them we concentrate on all 3, but I'm base our program on something else too. So, but anyway, I think you got to be a great rebounding team. I think that everybody talks about defense and all that, but man, let me tell you what, to win championships, you've got to control the boards. And so, rebounding is the first one. Second one is half court defense. Man, you got to have something that you hang your hat on, and it's got to be one of your bases, and you got to be able to play half court defense. And then one that's overlooked a lot, I think, is half court execution. So, those 3 things.
Say that again, Coach. You broke up on. You were a little away from your mic on that one. Say the third one again.
So it's half court execution.
Okay.
And so I believe, a lot of people, I had to learn that the hard way. Now, when you look at our program, we are a pressing team. I mean, we're one of the only girls teams around that press made and miss shot. I mean, we're going to press you from the time you get off the bus, and I believe in it. But the pressing is not going to win you a state championship when you get deep into the state.
No, it's not.
And people don't believe that, and they don't have another backup plan.
Yep.
Pressing is, like I said, it's going to be help you with transition, help you with a lot of stuff. But those 3 things right there is what you got to hang your hat on. There's no doubt about it. So going back to what
you got to learn that. I think you got to learn that the hard way, because I had some teams that, no lie, had like 3 or 4 Division I guys, NBA guys, professional guys. I thought I could press all the time, and it's like then you run across that one team that's just going to come down and grind you, and if you don't out execute them, they're going to beat you. And you're right. You're going to win a lot of games doing that style, but I love that your third one is you have to be able to execute in the half court. I think a lot of young coaches don't see that, and you got to experience.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I tell you, I don't think it's going to be a good idea to put us on the same podcast, because I think we're already thinking way too much alike, and so I don't know if that's good or bad.
That is good.
See, at Dade, where I was there, man, we pressed so hard and our kids played so hard. But what we didn't learn to do was we didn't learn to execute in the half court because we wanted to steal it, or we wanted to get something easy in transition. So later on, when you got in the state where people could handle you a lot better, then you didn't know how to execute and get the shots you needed to by grinding. And we played for three state championships there.
Right.
And I guarantee you, if I'd learned that lesson younger, we would have won at least 3 of them, maybe played for more.
You and I sound like a bunch
of hard lesson.
You and I sound like a bunch of old farts. My best team had Wesley Matthews, who plays for the Mavericks right now. But my best team was 04, which was my first year that we went to the state tournament. We were undefeated. It was a great team. I ended up having 3 Wisconsin Mr. Basketballs on the team, and we lost because we couldn't execute. It's like you had to be punched. And I think the problem with that, for the people that are listening, especially the young coaches, like I said, you're going to win 95% of the games if you're the better team, if you're pressing and picking up tempo. The problem is your boys or girls they need to kind of be punched. And if they haven't been punched during the season and they haven't experienced that team that just comes down and executes, they're not ready for it on the biggest stage, which is like the state tournament. And that's part of it too, is I don't think they're used to it. It's like they're just blowing people out. They're winning by 10 or 15. They're pressing people. They're getting easy layups. And then all of a sudden they get punched. They're high school kids still too. They don't know how to react to that.
Yeah, and I think there's 2 things you got to do. One thing that we've done, definitely at Buford, is we go out and schedule the best people. I could care less now where and I think that programs have different levels now. I don't think everybody can do this. You got to get to a level. But right now, we don't care if we go out and get beat. And I don't mean it like don't care about losing. What I mean is I'm never going to find out what we're weak at unless I can play the best people and they can expose our weaknesses. Yep. So I don't care about the records. I care about playing the best people and how we compete against those teams and all, because like you said, to get prepared for the championships, you have to be hitting the mouth, and you got to be see how you're going to respond. And you know, it's so funny you said it. I had a great team back at Dade County that we would just be beating people 30-4 in the first quarter. And you know what you do is you try not to rub it in on nobody. So what do? In the second half, you pull your kids, you do this, you do that. Well, then when you get to the end, all of a sudden your kids can't play 32 minutes like that.
Right.
You end up,
they're not ready.
all of a sudden you can't do it. They're not ready. So it's a lot of pitfalls. I tell you the other one, Steve, that I've had to work with the last 2 years with my team is 3-point shooting, because we've had some great shooters in our program for the last 3 or 4 years. Well, they think I'm crazy a lot of times because I love to shoot the ball, but also every day I'm talking to them about you better be able to grind, because there's going to be nights those shots won't go down.
Right.
And what are you going to do those nights?
Right. And how do you react to it? And the thing is, like, there's a couple things that I've learned from especially for the people listening. And it's going to sound crazy. We schedule a national schedule too. We're not going to Florida this year, but we've spent the last 6 years in Florida, played in the Kingdom of the Suns. We've gone to Myrtle Beach and beach ball. We played in some of the top tournaments in the country. But we do that again. Similar. I don't care. I don't really care whatever happens in those, because I'm going to learn. What I've learned is with age too is I don't really, it doesn't bother me when I get the bad official during the season. Now, don't get me wrong. I'll let them know that they're horrible, but it teaches us that adversity of, you know, all of a sudden you're on the bench because you're in foul trouble. I'm all of a sudden having to play more kids. We're kind of struggling. Well, then, because it's a teachable moment at that point to the kids, I think. It's like, you know, you're sitting here because you've got 3 fouls and we're you know, 2 minutes into the second half. That's why you're sitting. And then the next kid gets their opportunity, and you can find some hidden gems that way too, I think.
Well, think about what's all over the media now, social media and everything else. Just kids can't handle adversity, and kids can't do this, and kids are not tough. If I talk to so many of the high school coaches around here and college coaches, their main complaint is the kid's just not tough. Well, guess what? You got to put them in tough situations.
Yes.
You got to put them in adverse situations if you want to do that. You know, everybody talk about mental toughness and all they want, but until kids are put into those situations, you're not going to really find out what they're made out of. And that's what, you know, it's like you're saying, you've got to go be put in those type situations before you can really develop a heart of a champion in a program or in a team. And so, you know, like I said, we're definitely preaching the same message to the choir.
Yeah, and this is a big one. I don't know if it's as big for you, but you have to teach the kids what you mean by what you mean by being tough, and you also have to teach them about. This is my big one. The last 3 or 4 years has been teaching them how to properly communicate on the court, because I tell them to talk, but they don't necessarily know what to say and how to say it. So we actually have lessons like, here's how you need to communicate. You know, you need to give a direction what you want. You have to give the kid's name. All of those things are so important now, you know, moving forward. And I don't know if as coaches we do that. You know, all these guys are saying they're not tough. Well, okay, how do we make them tough? Because kids haven't changed. Parents maybe have changed a little bit, but kids haven't really changed in 30 years. They're kids. They're going to take the easy way out.
Well, listen, like I said, this is kind of crazy because we're kind of on the same page, but we have worked so hard in communication. It's unbelievable the last 3 or 4 years, because I get so mad all the time because let me tell you what, I tell them all the time, if you can text your help side defense over there and tell them what to do, we'll all be in good shape. Right. By gosh, they can't put a cell phone down, but can't open their mouth. But I tell you what we did too is, there's a great coach. You need to get him on your podcast sometime up in Georgia at Emmanuel College called TJ Rosine.
I know TJ. He's a PGC guy. Of course I know.
Yeah. Let me tell you what, he's a good friend, and we spend a lot of time. But let me tell you, we'd even go up there and spend time with him because he has some really great communication drills and different things he does. He even makes his kids when they're on the road, if they go into a restaurant, if they go into McDonald's, they got to step up and they got to look at the person, call out the person's name, tell them directly, specifically what they want, thank them and everything else. Just does an unbelievable job with stuff like that. And we even we take every Wednesday, 10 weeks out from our season. Every Wednesday we would break down 30 minutes of leadership. One of my assistant coaches would do that. And then 30 minutes of communication skills. And then we take 30 minutes of breaking down film, because now film's so accessible to kids with crossover and huddle and all that. Right. But a lot of them don't know how to break it down. They just watch it, and so they don't know how to do those things. So communication is one of our big things. And, we talk about it being the glue to defense and everything else. But I'm telling you, there's nothing more frustrating nowadays than dealing with kids and trying to get them to communicate to each other.
Right. And I've done that too. I've done that. What the TJ thing does. It's like, for any of the coaches that are listening, if you take your teams out to restaurants or something, make them use the waiter or waitress's first name every time. It's like, let's say the waiter's name is John. John, I could use some ketchup, please. John, we're ready for the bill. John, and it will just, using that name. It's like, that's such a PGC thing, but everyone's name is that special little thing. Your name is special to you, and you'll always hear it across the room or wherever. But yeah, TJ's awesome. I was going to have him on last spring. Some things fell through, but I'm a big PGC guy. I think they do things really the right way. They really
and there's not many, to me, in my opinion, which sometimes my opinion is kind of real opinionated, but there's not many guys like that left that do it the right way. And Sam Allen and TJ and all them BGC guys, they do a great job. We got a great relationship with all of them up here in Atlanta, and have nothing but respect for what they do and how they teach the game of basketball, because there's a lot of coaches out there now, but there's just not a lot of teachers anymore that really want to get down and break it down and make kids do the right things and do it the right way. So, like I said, I hate to say, I'm an old dinosaur, man. Like I tell everybody all the time, I guess dinosaurs go extinct. So it'll be
at some point,
be the best
but I'm a math teacher too. It's like the way they've been teaching math for 2,000 years has worked. As long as you're willing to put the time in, it can work. Tell me a little bit about your coaching philosophy. Like, if you had to summarize your coaching philosophy.
Well, I think that what we're going to try to do is put 3 types of pressure on you. And because I feel like that pressure will eventually wear you down mentally or physically.
Right.
So the first type of pressure that we're going to try to put on you is definitely we're going to press you. And we're going to – now what's kind of crazy about our philosophy here is we will get out there and see, we don't – when I was up at Dade, I didn't have a lot of athletes. So I really had to work with skilled basketball players and make players and all. So like with our pressing system, we run a lot more containment press than what we do with pressurized press, because I think people get used to that type pressure. So number one, like I said, our base that we run is a 1-2-2 containment. That we contain is really a disguised half-court trap.
Right.
So we put pressure on you in the full court. But then what's kind of crazy is when we get to the half court, we run a sagging man-to-man defense. And everybody calls it pack line now and all that stuff. I was running this 25 years ago. Boys coach taught it to me and love it.
Yep.
But so we're going to protect the paint with everything that we do. So that's the first type of pressure, is we're going to get you and we're going to try to wear you down in the full court and everything else. Now the second type of pressure is we're going to try to really put pressure on you in offensive transition. So this is the other way. We're going to try to score on you really, really quick and make you get back and do those things. But then the other thing is, if we don't get an opportunity, now we're going to try to put you in half court and grind you. We're gonna work until we get what we want in half court. We don't have a shot clock still in high school, so like I said, we're gonna try to execute you. And like I said, that goes back to half court execution we talked about. And then the other third type of pressure we're gonna try to do is we're gonna try to really get on the offensive boards. So you just see nobody, like I said, and it ties into what we talked about winning a state championship, because we talked about number 1, rebounding, number 2, half court defense, number 3, coming back and being able to execute on the half-court offense.
Right.
So the pressures that we're putting is also kind of pressurized and is going back into those type things. So, when shot goes up, we're making sure our weak side wings and everything else is crashing the boards, and we're trying to put pressure on you that way. And I just feel like that most teams, especially in women's basketball, are not going to be able to handle if you're great at 2 of those, much less being great at 3 of those.
Right.
So, like I said, my philosophy's had to change a little bit, because, like I said, 15, 20 years ago, I was all about full court all the time.
Yep.
Now it's more about full court, but now when you get to the area that you have to go half court, man, you got to be precise. You got to be like a knife. You got to get in there and slide.
And I've noticed over time that really high school kids don't adjust real well either. As you change things, they just don't just adjust to all of a sudden, if you did something a little bit different, that would cause some problems, I think. Can you think of one coaching moment that you could dive into, something that in your 30 years that a young coach could take something away from?
I tell you, I think that we've already touched on it a lot, Stephen, and I think this is so big, is that you've got to be able to grind to win championships. And I think you've got to be able to grind both in the half court and when you half court offense and half court defense. I think those are so important. And I think kids now, they live in such a world of instant gratification that grinding is something that's foreign to them.
Right.
And I think that that's a big one. Is like we talked about, we're gonna try to press you and everything else, but when we get back in the half court, man, you're gonna have to grind to get good shots against us.
Right.
Then we're going to try to press. We're going to put pressure on you in the full court. We get it out. We're going to try to rip, roar, get something easy in transition.
Right.
But then if we don't, being able to switch it up.
Yes.
So, I think the grinding is big. I tell you the other thing, I think that I think I may have the opportunity to speak at point guard college again this coming up year. But I want to talk about this. I think this has really helped me is finding what your program is based on. Because here's what I've kind of come to now is the foundations of our program is built on four things. And these four things are what we're going to be great at. We're not going to be good at. This is where we're going to put all our emphasis into it,
right.
all our drill work into it. And the four things is number one is going to be our sagging man-to-man defense. I mean, we're going to put so much because, like we said, that's one of the things. The other one is going to be our 1-2-2 press. Now, like I said, we're going to do some other variations, but this is what we're going to be great at. This is going to be the one.
Foundation. This is the foundation of your house. Yes.
This is it.
Yeah.
The other foundation that we've kind of, and this is kind of really weird, is we run the dribble drive now. And as a coach, as an old school coach, I hate the dribble drive because it's nothing but about one-on-one basketball and breaking people down.
Right.
But now we love it because most high school defenses, if you can turn it and do what you need to do, you're going to get something good off of it.
Right.
So our other foundation is we do all our shooting drills, we do all our work and everything off the dribble drives. That's our third foundation. And then the fourth foundation was kind of a unicorn for us that I've been looking forward in my coaching career for a long time is what do you do against a zone? Because so many people run sets against zone or they run this, they run that. We've kind of started this about 3 years ago, and it's been really good to us. Is we have zone principles. We run out of a 1-3-1 set, but we teach our high post and our low post how to play off of each other and how to read each other and what's going to happen here and the ball goes there because last 2 or 3 years we hadn't had a lot of big just wallering around post players, so we had to be a little bit quicker and everything else. So
right.
we teach them to score off the short corner. We teach them how to score off the high post and how to attack off the high post. And then how to play off each other. And then we teach our three perimeter players how basically some principles of dragging off the baseline, of how to dribble, loop, and attack and doing these things. And then what we do is we just let them play together. And so now, especially in girls, we're not running stuff. We're playing basketball.
Hey, everybody. I hope you enjoyed the podcast. Make sure you subscribe and like no matter where you listen, Apple, Spotify. We love those 5-star reviews. Make sure you also go over and check out teachhoops.com for coaches who want to get better.
The hustle doesn't stop in NBA 2K27. Every game is an opportunity to master your skills.
You can't guard me!
To put defenders on skates with your bag of crossovers. And show off your limitless range. Chase greatness around the clock in NBA 2K27. Ball over everything.
NFL football season is here, which means when you switch to Verizon, it feels like touchdown. Because you get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us when you buy an eligible 5G phone on select unlimited plans, which means you can watch every out-of-market game every Sunday afternoon. And it's all on us. Now that's the Verizon way to kick off the NFL football season right. Switch and get NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube on us, only with Verizon.